Okay, so thank you for coming to our talk. We're going to talk about web augmented reality. So we are Alexandra and Jerome Etienne. Okay, we are not brothers. Jerome is my husband. Somebody before asked if we were brothers. No, we're not related. So basically, my path in augmented reality started when I got hired by this company to be an evangelist for AR Toolkit. AR Toolkit is a framework to create AR experiences. And so I traveled around the world telling people about how good augmented reality was and how you should use AR Toolkit, and et cetera, and et cetera. But you know what I noticed that it was the most important thing? The community. The developers that were creating everyday applications, that were looking for new things, new ways to learn. So what happened was that I decided to start working with Jerome in something that is called AR.js. He's going to tell you about it, okay, and the beginnings, and how we wanted basically to provide the community with the tools so they can create their augmented reality through the web. I now work at Lightform doing projection mapping, what's called projected augmented reality. But my heart is really in augmented reality itself and in giving the community that inspiration, the tools, as I said, because it is their creativity, their innovation, and their passion that is going to make augmented reality become a real thing. So, I'm giving it to Jerome.
Hello. Yes. Okay, so first, let me start by putting everybody at ease. One thing which is important to me is when people think about augmented reality, they always think it is complex. They cannot do it because it implies a lot of mathematics, a lot of 3D, and people think that's unreachable to them. They will spend too much time learning about it. They don't have the time, they don't have the will. So it's like magical, but too far to be reachable. Let me reassure you, augmented reality is much easier than you think, and this is key. For me, simplicity is beautiful. This is like a goal of mine. I apply the Occam razor wherever I go, whatever I do, and for me to do the things simply is crucial. It's like a personal goal, almost a mission. So when I did AR.js, when I did augmented reality, I applied the same. So let me show you how to do augmented reality with only 10 lines of HTML. 10 lines of HTML is interesting because any web dev can do it. You just need to be a web dev. You don't need to do complex stuff, mathematics, matrix, and so on. This is the whole thing. What you have here is only 10 lines of HTML. You can paste this into a web page, and you got this result. So this result is a wonderful, it's basically a cube, right, on top of a marker. This is simple, because I made it simple in order to fit into 10 lines. But what you have is 10 lines of HTML. You can even put that into CodePen. You arrive here, on the right, you have the source, usual CodePen stuff, just 10 lines. By the way, 10 lines with a comment. So it's actually 9 lines if you want to play around. And on the right, you have Alexandra showing a marker with a cube on top. It's only 10 lines. This is any web dev. You can do that. That's 10 lines. Let me break it down. Here, I don't want to actually teach you how to use AR.js and so on, just to give you an idea of how simple this is. There is blog posts, there is documentation. If you want to try that at home, do it. You just have to go, there is a GitHub, there is a README, you can do it. I don't need to use a keyboard. Let me use a clicker. So, first, you need, in those 10 lines, you have to include the library. This is 3 scripts, you include the library. Super basic stuff. Any web dev do that. Then, you have a body. It's a body like any HTML web page. Usual stuff. Here we start to be a bit different. We have something called a scene. This is a special HTML tag introduced by Frame. Frame is a 3D web library, let's say, made by Mozilla. And when you do that, you basically say, inside this tag, I will describe the 3D I want to put in augmented reality. When you do augmented reality, you put 3D on top of reality. So you need at some point to define 3D. Here, we define the 3D. So we put a box. Here, I put a box because this is simple, easy to understand. You can put whatever model you like. You can put animation. You can put any 3D you like. You can put a whole 3D application here, if you want to. Obviously, if you put a whole 3D application, that's more than 10 lines. But once you have done that, you just put a camera, and that's it. You have done your very first AR, just there. You have your 10 line. It is as simple as that. And this is by far the most important message that if you have one message to take out of this talk, take this one. You can do augmented reality in 10 lines. It's easy with AR.js. So, it is cool. We have that. It is easy. Let's talk more about the beginning. How did we reach this point? So I play with augmented reality, obviously. To make it that simple, you need to work a lot before. And this is what I did. So 5 years ago, this was me. So wonderful augmented realities I did 4 years ago.
Hello, everybody.
Okay.
So this is another screencast from Learning 3GS blog.
I cannot cut the start of that.
Let
me cut it there. So this is a very simple augmented reality that I did in 2012. As you can see, this is simple. I play as a clown, and I have a pointy hat and a red nose. And in 2012, this was definitive achievement. Even reading the webcam was good at the time. And this was the first try at WebAR. This was not too good from a performance point of view. On here, this is running on a desktop. Desktop means lots of CPU compared to your phone. This is very important. So this one was 5 years ago. Since I did some more, though. So in 2012, I was doing these kind of things. In 2015, I got hired by Dacry. Dacry is an augmented reality company specialized for industrial stuff. And I was responsible for their WebAR. So there are 7 applications. 3 of them were about WebAR, and I was responsible for that, to lead their team. And unfortunately, in 2017, so at the beginning of this year, Dacry got some issue on, not fired, laid off 150 people. And Alexandra and I, we both worked at Dacry, and we were part of that. So just this day, we both got laid off. And so obviously, it could have been taken as something bad, right? Both person, all the revenue of the couple suddenly going 0. So we could have said, okay, it's bad. But we choose another approach. We choose to actually take it as an opportunity. Certainly, we have a lot of free time, 100% of free time. And we choose to use this time in order to work on AR.js. AR.js was this project. What will WebAR be if we take all what we have learned from the past, if we take everything and we start up from scratch, what can we do? AR.js was born. So we were starting on focusing on AR.js. AR.js is efficient augmented reality for the web. This is like the motto sentence for it. And the word efficient is absolutely key here. Okay, AR.js at the time was only marker-based. So it's not exactly the top of the, I don't know, the most modern stuff, but it was very fast marker-based. So what is interesting, I don't have my phone, but this means it works on any phone on the planet. And this is important. So to reach this speed, I had to optimize augmented reality performance. I optimized it like crazy. When I took it, it was only 4 FPS on a high-end phone, meaning on a modern phone, the most modern phone that you can buy at the time, it was 4 FPS. 4 FPS doing augmented reality in a web browser inside your phone, this is good achievement from a technical point of view. But the user doesn't care. He takes the phone and you get 4 FPS. 4 FPS is not usable. Nobody wants to do augmented reality at 4 FPS. So you can show that to your friend, you say, oh, bravo, but nobody else can do that. If you want to do that, I had to optimize it a lot. So I did the work, and ultimately, I reached 60 FPS on a 2-year-old phone. And this makes a big, big, big difference. Suddenly, at 60 FPS, you can use it. A user take it, he look, and the video looks great, it's moving great, everything seems nice. And this is what makes WebAR usable. So I was very proud of this achievement because this was the first time that it ever happened, right? Let me show you this video. This video is the video that we used in order to announce WebAR to Twitter. So here you can see wonderful Minecraft. And so you have Minecraft, you have some text all around, and you have a marker. As you can see, the stuff is moving cool. And this is a phone, this is a Nexus 6, I think. I don't remember exactly. The animation is at 60 FPS. As you can read, this is based on web standard. This is open source. And this was a very good tweet for me. So we announced it on Twitter. And this tweet got like maybe 1,000 likes and 500 retweets. This is, let me tell you why I speak about that. Is because the role of Twitter in the WebAR achievement was really, really, really key. So I was talking about AR.js mostly on Twitter, and it changed completely my experience of Twitter. Suddenly, because AR.js was so popular, it multiplied my number of views per day by 10. Sometimes I even got more than 500,000 views per month. For me, it was mind-boggling, just the time to realize, okay, 500,000 views per month. That's like, wow. And this is very important because, okay, the ego is great, right? A lot of people see my tweet, wow, I'm a star, something, right? But it's a lot more than that. It becomes useful. You can talk to people. You can arrive and say, suddenly I have a question. I don't know something in a particular domain. I could just ask on Twitter, and a lot of people will see it. So at least one person will read that and answer me, or point to the proper answer. Suddenly, I could use Twitter more or less as an help desk. And if I want to find people interested in my stuff in order to do demo and so on, they can do it. Suddenly, I realized that that kind of audience is very useful. It's a lot more than an ego trip. Even now, Twitter is the best way to contact me. All that is cool, right? There is a fame part and so on and so on. But ultimately, it was a lot like being a duck. So let me explain what this means, because this seems like a weird message. But for like 3 months, I was actually a duck, believe me. So this is what it is to be a duck. On the surface, you have a duck, so he's cool, he's relaxed, he's actually on top of it, he's on the surface, right? But inside, below water, the part that you don't see, you have to paddle like mad. And this is key, because let's not forget that I was doing augmented reality in a browser, in JavaScript, on a phone. So JavaScript is not known to be fast, and the phone is not known to be fast. So to do that was actually complex engineering, not something simple. Ultimately, I was doing software. So under the hood, what the duck is paddling, for me, it was a lot of responsibility. Everybody look at me. It feels good to be a star, but it's a lot of work. Under the hood, I was doing fixing bug, improving stability, on user writing test, all of that. All alone, by the way, because two-hand. So it was long and ungrateful, but very much needed. Without that, you could not do all the great demos that you see on Twitter. Basically, my Twitter persona was what you see above water. What I was doing 9 hours a day is paddling like a madman. Don't get me wrong. Being a duck was great. Yes, I was alone. Yes, I was unemployed. I was doing all the code, all the architecture, all the design. I was working 10 hours a day. I was not making a penny. So but it was great. That's a weird part about it. Okay, so this is all for me. And now Alexandra will take over and explain to you what is AR.js.
Okay. Thank you. So Jerome was working a lot, as we see. He coded AR.js, right? And I wanted to help him make WebAR become a reality. So let's start by looking at what is AR.js. Our mission, bringing AR to the web, okay? So WebAR is augmented reality on the web, and we wanted to make this real. How were we going to do this? We were going to do this by creating and spreading a library that was very fast, that was web-based, open source, and that it relied on standards. And we did it. What does it mean by very fast? So, as Jerome mentioned, it runs efficiently on mobile phones. So the optimization worked, and it went from 4 FPS on high-end phones to 60 FPS on 2-year-old phones. We tried it first at home on my Nexus 6, and yay! So it works. And we also tried it, we had records of trying it on a Nexus 5 and older phones, and Microsoft and Samsung, and the performance was still really good. It was 50, 55 FPS. So, AR.js is also web-based. It is full JavaScript, as Jerome said. It is based on Three.js and on the JavaScript version of AR Toolkit. It is a pure web solution, so this means that no installation is required. And that is great. You do everything through your browser. You don't have to download any apps into your phone. It supports all phones, so it supports Android, Windows Phone, iOS, so everybody can use it. And it relies on standards. So if your phone has WebGL and WebRTC, and now, thanks to Apple joining in, all phones have it, so no special API or specific applications, your modern browser is enough. You can see in this picture, I am holding the phone to my computer screen. It has a hero marker on it, and you can see, okay, if you have like this on whatever screen it is, imagine like you're shopping online, and you have a QR code or marker on a shoe, and you want to see the shoe or the diamond or the ring or whatever you're buying or the watch turn in augmented reality in front of you. Huh? Sexy, right? So that is what we wanted to create. So what happened after AR.js? This year has been full of announcements and developments in the augmented reality world. And boom, ARKit. So Apple arrived with ARKit in June 2017. So what does this mean? Okay, it started by vague rumors at the beginning. Earlier this year, Tim Cook was saying, yeah, AR is great, yeah, AR is the future, but nothing that committed to anything. But Apple had made acquisitions on the AR field before, starting by Metaio a couple of years ago. But they never released anything. So that led to believe, people started assuming that Apple was going to release something major in AR, and they did. So what was said about ARKit? It's markerless tracking, ability to do hit testing on the real world, and available on a monocular camera. So this was the real thing. This was a bomb for the AR. This meant that AR was going to become real, that you were going to have it on your phones, that you were going to be able to create, to use it, to experience it by yourselves. And at that time, Apple was the best. They were the leaders in the market. Why? Not because of tracking accuracy, no. The Microsoft HoloLens and actually Google's Project Tango were more accurate, had more accurate tracking. But they both required specific devices. So the Microsoft HoloLens is 3K, okay, and it's heavy on your head. So it was available only to the people who could afford it, or it was available to companies, for companies that wanted to experiment with it. And the Tango at the time was only available in one phone, the Lenovo Fab 2 Pro. Who here has a Lenovo Fab 2 Pro? One person. So it was a great software, it was great tracking, but it had a specific software. Apple promised to support iOS, only iOS, iPad, iPhone, but it did support some phones. So AR got included in your pocket, in the phone that you had in your pocket, and you got it by default if you had an iPhone. No need for anything else, and ARKit was a big step into massive user adoption. All that thanks to the monocular camera support. Now, what's a monocular camera? So monocular camera is another fancy word for saying normal webcam. So any camera on any phone in the world, monocular camera. So this meant that even old phones will have access to ARKit. The support of monocular camera was the key for user adoption. And this is what ARKit brought. Everybody was rightfully impressed. But, and I don't want to create any religion wars here, okay, I actually worked for Apple myself, but Apple as an AR leader was kind of scary. Why? Because, let's face it, they like to keep a tight control on what they do. Okay? They are much more for closed source than open source. And they don't promote or share with people outside the Apple environment their solutions. And they like their stores a lot, or their app store a lot. So Twitter was full of beautiful, fantastic demos of ARKit made with Unity. We've all seen them, they're great. But what this meant was that likely no ARKit on the web. Why? Well, because Apple is pushing for native apps on their app store. So a native, for us, has less advantages than the web. So we figured that it wasn't such a great time for WebAR. Even though there's been this great advancement, where's the web? So why am I saying that web is better than native? For some devs, not for everybody. You write it once, okay, and you run it everywhere for developers. You use usual web technologies that you already know. You don't have the need to learn any specific technologies. And web developers are much easier to find than Android-specific developers or iOS-specific developers. Believe me, I know. I work for an AR company. We had a hard time finding those. And for users, well, no applications to download. Okay? People do not like to download applications. I hate to download applications that I don't need. They will get uninstalled in a matter of hours or days or whatever. So we only like to download applications that we're going to use recurringly. Google Maps, for example. Okay? Yet ARKit was great. It was. People with iPhone were able to do AR, and this is 12% of the world's market, 40% in the US. So it was, at that time, the biggest step toward actual AR ever. And we were so hopeful. Yes, AR will become a real thing. We need to tackle this thing as it comes. We need to make stuff with it. We need to show people that it is a possibility and that it is here. And sometime later, bam, AR Core hits. So this was huge. This was major for the web and for web augmented reality. AR Core released in August 2017. And what happened? So AR Core is very similar to ARKit in some ways. They both have the monocular camera support. Before, Google only had Project Tango, although honestly, Project Tango was great. We have a Lenovo at home, and we tried it. And the tracking was perfect. It's just that nobody had a Lenovo. Nobody. And it was only available there. But so AR Core changed everything again. This meant that the other 88% of the world's market were going to have AR in their phones as well. So not only iPhone, we were like, oh my God, now we're going to have to buy iPhones. No, you can have it on your Android phone. Now, both major vendors in the world, Apple and Google, are providing good support for AR. And Apple no longer had the monopoly on AR. So this is good news for the AR world. Diversity and competition are healthy for the users and for the ecosystem in general. So thanks, Google. And also, on top of that, thank you for exposing AR to the web. Because Google has always been very keen on web tech. They built 2 apps to expose AR Core and AR Kit with web tech. And these are a mouthful, very specific, very descriptive, WebAR on AR Core, WebAR on AR Kit. You can see them on GitHub. And what does this mean? What are those applications? So these 2 apps are exposing AR to a modified version of Chrome, okay, for the time being. They're long names, as I said. It is a single API to reach both markerless tracking, okay? So I don't work at Google. I don't know the plans that they have, but the likely goal here is to basically implement it on the stable version of Chrome. So, and create a standard for WebAR, as we have a standard for WebVR. So nothing is definite, but AR Core is a great advancement, a great development for developers, for the AR world, for community, for users, and it's a great starting point for mobile and web augmented reality. So, what are the differences between ARKit and AR Core? Let's just do a little quick comparison here. So, effort by Apple, ARKit, it's available on iPhone and iPad, and this is 12% of the world's market. AR Core is an effort by Google, it's available on all Android devices, and it's 88% of the world market. Yeah, so it doesn't seem very much of a competition. Now we can reach AR Core and ARKit from a web browser. Google will likely include that in their Chrome implementation, as I said, hopefully, we're waiting for it, and we're waiting for it to become a standard. Similarities. They both have inside-out tracking with monocular camera. So monocular camera, we saw, a fancy word for any camera, any webcam in the world, thank you. Hit testing, okay, they both have hit testing. And what does this do? Okay, so hit testing is something to detect planes in your environment and give you their location. So for example, if you are going to map the table, okay, it's going to detect and it's going to determine that topology of the table, that orientation, that position of the table in the real world, and it's going to allow you to display your AR on top of it, okay? So that's what it does. It maps, detects, determines position in the real world. And also what they both do, is that they estimate ambient light. So what's the deal with light? Light is so important for augmented reality. Why? Because with good light, AR seems real, and that's the whole point of it. With good light, AR merges better into the real world, okay? And it's so simple. It's just shadows and light. If an object sheds a shadow, you know, here, I have a shadow, okay? I'm a person. If my AR object standing just beside me has the same shadow, you will see it as more real. If it reacts to light, for example, the light is turned off and then it becomes darker and it has no more shadow, then believe me, you will see the difference. It will be much more realistic. And the experience that you have in augmented reality will be more immersive. So AR Core and ARKit can both estimate ambient light. In broad daylight, okay, ambient light is high, it's strong, shadows. And in the middle of the night, ambient light is low. It is that simple. However, AR Core seems to go a little bit further and estimate directional light as well. So in this image, you can see this lion that has become very popular now. And you see that when the guy turns off the lights, the lion, he gets scared, he has a reaction, but also he becomes darker. You see? Had a shadow, and then it reacted to the change in light. So this is very important, and we that work in the AR field know how important it is. So bravo to these two technologies, ARKit and AR Core, for doing this. Well, we have all seen the examples. As I said, Google full screen, I don't know. Yeah, okay. This is the AR pet on ARKit dog. Google Tango had also a pretty good application of this, so basic pet, Tamagotchi-like, right? You just go fetch with the stick. You can do this with your cat, with your dog, and he will come back. You have to feed him. You have to make sure he doesn't die. I know my Tamagotchi always died, and I was sad, so yeah. So anyway. And it's pretty cool, and we've all seen them. This one, it's a little bit more practical. It's also with ARKit, and it's basically for artists, sketching, painting that sketch or that shape that you make through the tablet and seeing it how it fits in your living room, how it fits in your real world. And you can change the color, you can change the size, the shape, make a face of it. So this allows you to do so many creative things, right? This one is a cool one. This one, let me see if I can actually, ooh, magnifique. So this is a portal. So for all of you fans of Stargate, Twilight Zone, and I don't know what else, you can go now into another world. So imagine you're walking down the street, and you go to this mountain world with beaches and everything, and then you turn around, and you see the street you were walking on, and then you just come back. It's as easy as that. And this one was done with AR Core. And this, what I was saying about realism. So I don't know if you've seen this, but it's pretty cool and scary at the same time. These are not actual drones, they're in augmented reality, but you see them in a parking with bicycles and with cars. And look how real they are. Look at that. That's a great job from the 3D artist, but also light. Huh? They seem so real, so rusty, that you could almost touch them. So this is the advancement. This is where the technology is at. So, back to AR.js. All this happened. What happened with AR.js? What did we do? Jesus Christ, so many things on WebAR. This is my cat, by the way. So you're going to be seeing a lot of pictures of my apartment. Do not judge. Because, of course, it's in the apartment where we do most of our AR experiences. And this one was the one that we were doing with Firefox. I have this. Okay. So what is AR.js right now? Well, we've evolved as well. There's been some changes. Three of the changes that we've made is that we've made it available to the A-Frame API, okay, which Jerome said, effort by Mozilla, which is a great way to code, easier way to code. You can use AR.js on Babylon as well. So now there's no longer, you can either use it on 3JS or Babylon.js, so it's not only 3JS anymore. It supports Project Tango as well, so I'm going to show you some demos made with a demo made with Project Tango. And all of this you can follow. We have tons of posts, blog posts and videos on Medium. You can go to our GitHub and try it yourselves and see that it works and try your own AR experiences. But the most important thing is that AR.js supports AR Core and ARKit. So we're there, right? What does this mean? This is my kitchen. This we were doing WebAR Playground, and it's kind of a preset. You can try it or yourselves as well. We were doing kind of preset examples, preset 3D that you could display in AR. You have Minecraft characters, drones, something else. So yeah, so you can try all this and place it around your room, around your environment. This means that AR.js supports, if you have an AR Core enabled phone, then AR.js will use the AR Core tracking. If you have a device enabled ARKit, then AR.js will use the ARKit tracking. And if you have a normal phone that doesn't have AR Core or ARKit, then AR.js will use the pure web tracking. So everybody, no excuses, everybody can try AR for themselves, no matter your device. AR.js will provide the best tracking available on your device, no matter the device that you have, even if it's an old device. You don't have to buy the latest one. You don't have to have the latest technology on your device. You can try it on your old, crappy phone. Yeah. So it's a single source for all platforms as well. So for developers, you don't have to do an AR core application, you don't have to do an AR kit application, or a marker application, or an image-based application. You don't have to write different kinds of applications. You write your application once, and it runs on all platforms. This one is one of Jerome's favorites. If it works. So, we love Hatsune Miku, and we've been working with her and her agents for some time now. And here she is dancing in her living room. Okay, so you see no markers. This was done with Project Tango. You have her shadow, you have my balcony, my cat tree, my cat's in the background. She is in my living room dancing with you. And, shadow. And you can do this with any character you want. Hey, if you have a fantasy, go ahead, you know? Like, I mean, any character in Minecraft character, Superman character, whatever you want, you can talk to them, you can dance with them on AR. And this one is the video of our first, so we're not designers, okay? We love the torus note with the cube. But this is a video of AR.js on AR Core, so you can see it floating in the middle of our living room in its cube. Yeah, and we're very proud of that. So imagine all the things that you could do, right? What can you do? What pops into your mind that you can do? These ones were one of the basic examples that we had at the beginning, okay? We were trying to sync virtual lights with reality. So as I said, light is very important, so you could see the M&M character is real. And the torus not on top of the hair, of course, it's not, but you can see the pattern that the shadow follows is the same. Okay? So this, as I said, is key. This one, using lights for the real world onto virtual objects, means that the reaction that the AR object has to the real world becomes, again, more real. This one is a glass torus, and you can actually see objects through it disturbed. You know, you can see distorted, blurry. This one, for example, is in the house, again. So we're trying multi-markers right here, and you have this big, immense glass torus twirling around the house, okay? And you can see that from behind it, you see the door, it's kind of distorted. You see it react to the little lamp. You see the sofa also distorted. And at one point, you're actually going to see me go behind it, and my face is going to be distorted as well. See? Hi. Okay. So you can actually see, okay? You can see from behind the AR. Okay, great ending. This one was the dog swimming on a desk, so it was a little funny scene that we made. It's actually a marker, and inside the marker you have the pool. So you can kind of create portals from inside the marker if you want to do that as your basic first AR scene. You have fishies flying around, swimming around, and dogs. This was our version of the portal. So this one was on multi-markers too, and this got a lot of retweets. Yeah. And it's basically if you're on your desk, okay, and you have your keyboard, you have your mouse, and then you go into the other world, into the beach with the mountains, and you look back, and you still see the multi-markers, you still see the desk, you still see the keyboard. So you can also do that. So we've talked about web augmented reality, but what can it do for the world? What can we build with augmented reality? What are the things that can improve society with augmented reality, with this technology? We need to be able to use this. So AR is now popular. Everybody has access. You have a device in your pocket. What can we do with this new possibility? Well, one of the things that was done was AR gaming. And I'm sure you've never heard about Pokemon Go. So what happened? People were tracking Pokemons on the street through their phones, and they were like looking around like children, and you had to catch them all. It was great. It was a great app. You can do this with AR, okay? You can provide a new user experience and have it more physical. You can do AR cards as well. I don't know if anybody remembers this, but this was the PS Vita. Oh God, this one's too long. Oh yeah, okay. The PS Vita was a commercial flop. Sorry, but it had great ideas. And this AR cards, okay, that now can be done markerless, okay, you can move them around, okay, and you can see laser game. Okay, you have the enemy team, and you move them around to display your AR objects on the other side. And you have also car games, okay? Hey, this was pretty cool. Going out of the floor, you have this racetrack that if you pull the markers outside, then the racetrack will expand or the racetrack will contract. This is kind of a version of an AR pet, you know? And all this you can do with AR. You have a monster, you don't want a dog, you don't want a cat, you want a monster. Fine. You have to be creative. One of the things that I'm very passionate about that we can do with augmented reality is augmented reality for education. Okay? I was talking to somebody last night, and we were saying that we've changed so much in the last 50 years as a society, so much. But the educational system hasn't really. We still sit in classrooms, hear the lessons, look at the textbooks. Well, wouldn't it be cool if kids or students today could use a device that they're already familiar with, like a phone, and put it on their textbooks or on a model or something and see it come to life, okay? Anatomy class and see the parts of the body, okay? Like history class. I know, instead of reading about Napoleon and the Waterloo and him fighting the English, then why don't you just see it and make it come alive in augmented reality? The layers of the earth, chemistry. You don't have to have the dangerous explosions and chemical reactions for real. You just have to have them in AR and look. The students are going to look at it and they're going to love it. They're going to want to learn. They're going to want to be so engaged. And education is such a problem right now. Then this kind of thing can help. And it's already being incorporated in some schools. And, of course, AR for many other fields, okay? AR for the industry, for workers in the factory, for plumbing, AR for commerce, for ads, for shops. If I could try on a dress and see how it's going to look in AR, or my watch and see how it's going to change in AR, just change it with a swipe, or shoes, or the ads, whatever. It's already here. It's just very early. You can have AR for medical training as well. I was talking to somebody last night about having a human body, like having an AR human body, and looking at how are you going to operate her. This could help us solve so many problems. So this is highly creative. Your imagination is the limit. We're so excited to see what people are going to do with WebAR, with AR.js, with ARKit, with ARCore, with everything. Just do, create. Thank you very much. Any questions? I don't know how much we have left. I think I saw 5 minutes.
Question? Or not? Something. We have a client just there.
The gentleman in the front.
So, but that's what's happened in the last year. Where do you think we'll be in 1 year?
Where will AR be in 1 year?
Well, I don't play lotto, but hopefully it will be better. My guess is In 1 year, you all will have a phone, all will be used to, will have a phone able to do AR, and you will all be used to start and play with AR. Right now, AR is a lot about toy and demo, but we don't have any real applications. And this is trouble. Well, this is trouble. This is cool because we can do ads. For example, this is the main topic when we talk to customers about AR. They want to do ads. In 1 year, we will start to have more real applications. So we talked a bit about in the industry, AR in the industry. Now, suppose you arrive and you have, I don't know, in your fridge, you arrive and the fridge tell you what's inside the fridge. The AR is able to recognize barcode, barcode, okay? And you are in a supermarket, you scan the barcode on just on top of the product, you see, all right, you are in, let's take a French supermarket, Monoprix, and if you go 500 meters on the left, you have another one with the same product, but cheaper. Or this product is, I don't know, that much sugar, or this is not good for your health, or this is good for your health. Maybe the application already know what you want to do with your health. Maybe you want to lose weight, maybe you want to gain weight, I don't know. And, or your friend of this product will be, all right, so if you have this product and 5 of your friends like this product, you are more likely to like this product. But you see that directly by taking your phone and you got a rayon, okay, the ray, I have no idea how to say that in English, and you put that directly on the rayon and you will see directly, this product is by my friend and they say this is cool. So I don't know all those products, but my friend likes it, so I will get this one.
Or in a restaurant.
Or in a restaurant.
If you go to a restaurant, for example, I would love to see. Sometimes you don't have pictures of the food. Like sometimes you don't know what you're getting. Like sometimes I'm hungry and I will order a big thing and then it comes a small thing like that. So I want to see it, right? So if I can just, okay, this is the one I'm getting. I want to place my phone on top of it and see an actual picture of the dish or thing that I'm getting, then I'd be happy.
Does this answer the question? Okay, excellent. Another question, please. No? Come on. Yes. Thank you for the courageous one.
Hello, thank you for the presentation.
Pleasure.
Are you able to do the heat planning with pure JS, with the pure AR.js, without the core kit or
AR core or AR kit, yes. Yeah. Yes, you can do that. Is basically the marker, because you are in pure JavaScript, so you are marker only. And there is a plan defined by the marker, the origin marker. And when you do it testing, I assume that the plan is the marker one, which is a reasonable assumption, because obviously if there is a marker there, this is a plan in a way.
I have a second question. Sure. Do you think it's possible to map a room with the heat planning like Tango is doing right now? I mean,
can you repeat?
Yeah, like modeling a room or something with heat planning. Is it possible? I don't really know the technology.
I'm not sure what you mean. What things that you can do if you have the time on the room is to put markers all over the room. One good thing about that is, because you have markers, AR on AR.js is able to tell you exactly the plan, where is the marker. If you put markers on the roof, you just point your phone at the roof and I will tell you exactly where it is. So if you put markers everywhere, yes, you can actually do that.
Oh, I was thinking more like markerless detection.
Oh, in JavaScript, not yet.
Yeah, and with the Google and Apple's technology, is it possible?
With Tango, for sure you can do that. With Tango, you arrive and they have that directly by their technology. If you want to do that with AR Core and AR Kit, the heat testing are more or less similar. Epsilon, very close. And what is not close will be soon. you cannot get the full room. And there is various technological problems. For example, it's easy for me to get carpet, let's say, because there is a texture here. You see very distant point. If I want to get the white of the wall there, it's a lot harder. And nobody can do that at the moment. Nobody, as in not Tango, not even in research paper, and so on. But you can deduce, meaning that if I have the ground here, on the roof here, I guess there's a wall there. Without that, what's it going to be? I mean, so there is some kind of heuristics that we put here, but it's not fixed problem right now. That's a good answer. Okay. Another question behind you.
Bit similar question. So I understand that AR Core and AR Kit don't allow you to relocate a room, basically, right? But
yes.
I assume that since you're combining both SDKs really in AR.js now, right? You can access both, or at least I'm assuming, it would be possible to use a marker to relocate the room and then maybe use the sort of, I'm assuming, better 6 degrees of freedom you get out of AR Core and Kit, which might not be true, but so like if I want to play with that tomorrow, like is it already supported in AR.js or how does that work?
Well, tomorrow that's going to be trouble. After that, we start by answering a very, very practical problem. Is right now to use AR Core and AR Kit in a web browser, you need to use those two applications published by Google: WebAR on AR Core or WebAR on AR Kit. Those applications has been happen to have a bug, which prevents me to use the support of marker there, because those applications cannot do AR Core and read the webcam at the same time. This is a very, very specific bug just there, and they have been notified of that, and we expect them to put more people on those applications in order to fix that. But from a technical, theoretical point of view, once they have fixed this bug, that's going to be definitely possible, and you can actually merge all the technology. So, for example, if AR Core, for whatever reason, for example, to have this white wall here, AR Core and AR Kit cannot do that because they cannot distinguish there is a plane. If you put marker there, you can merge the two information and actually improve the resolution of it testing, modulo the fact that you need to put markers all over the place, which is going to be, which make real room kind of super sci-fi.
Thank you. That's great.
One last question.
No. Yes.
Oh, no.
Simona on the front. Just there.
Thank you for your presentation.
You're welcome.
Awesome. I was wondering if you have in mind some of the things that users have implemented with AR.js and you love it.
Well, there was this very cool one, Sketch, kind of like Sketch AR. And you could put it up against the wall, okay, and it will give you like the traces that you need to do to, like, for example, paint a rabbit, okay, and you will see it through your phone, okay, and you could, like, even if I don't know how to paint a dog myself, I can't paint a dog, but using that, okay, you just need to follow it, and you can create a great picture of an animal or whatever you want just by looking at it through your phone. You can put it on your desk, and you can start coloring it or looking at it. So it's a great application. There was another one with a watch as well that I saw. That he was like changing. He put like a marker in his hand, and he was changing the kind of watches. He was trying on watches. So I don't know, this model I don't like, this model I don't like, whatever. And he just swiped it and changed, and the watch was different. And you could see it very realistically how it would look in his wrist. So those were one of the things that created.
There is another one. So she talked about Sketch in AR, which is basically tracing something. So when you don't know how to draw, you can actually draw something big on your wall. And another one was calligraphy teaching. So instead of displaying whatever image, he gives you a Chinese character, and you need to learn calligraphy, and you can learn through AR for
Can you
$0.
use that to tattoo people as well?
Tattoo people.
Yes.
Yes, you can. Yes. You had a weather one as well. They were doing like a weather application next to
something else.
yeah, and they were like, you could see they would draw like a cloud if it was a cloudy day, or it would like you would see the AR being drawn real time, or it was like a sunny day, it would be a full sun, and you could have that on your desk. Like, I mean, it's a nice idea. Like, instead of checking your phone, just wake up and it's on your, like, oh, what's the time today, and then rainy or something. Like, if you don't want to look out the window.
Another application was two students doing a master, and they wanted to have to book the room inside their college. And so basically you arrive and they put a marker in every room, you scan the marker, and you got in augmented reality the availability of the room, who has booked the room, and stuff like that. And they did that in other room in their college. So it's a good way to sensibiliser, il y a des fois j'ai du mal en anglais, all the students of the college to augmented reality. And this is something which is able to be done by WebAR, but not by native AR. You will not install an application just for that. You need something. I snap the QR code, and I got it. 4 seconds. This is good. I don't need to install stuff on my phone and so on.
Or actually translating, like if you're abroad and I don't know, I don't speak Chinese, and you just point your phone at it and it will translate it into your language. You know, how helpful can that be? I mean, so yeah, bringing us closer together. So it's a good thing.
Well,
Sounds great.
No other question? Super.
Thank you very much for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you.